Broadcasting from the financial capital of the world, this is NBR-FM, New York City.
Welcome back to the show. I am your host, Elvis Marchand, and for my next guest, coming out of Citrus Heights, California, she is the owner at Sacramento Healing Tree. Please welcome, everybody, Shannon McLaren. Shannon, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you? I'm happy to be here.
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Now, why don't you start with just telling us a little bit about yourself and what it is you do?
Well, I'm what is called a metaphysical healer, and what that means is that I use the energy that we are all created from to make shifts in our energy, and which provides our own body to allow it to heal itself, because we're all made that way. We can all heal ourselves. And so what I do is I just kind of kickstart your own system.
Gotcha. Now, how is it that you got started, or what led you to do what you're doing now?
Well, all of this actually is kind of natural for me. I started out really young. I used to see people coming out of my closet, so I'm a medium, and I've also always been able to heal people. And it took me most of my life, I fought it for a while, and it took me most of my life to get to the point where I was willing to accept it, and I had my first Reiki class back in 2008, and my teacher then told me that if I was a natural healer, that Reiki would organize it and make it stronger, and she was absolutely correct, and I've been off and running since then.
Very cool. Now, when someone reaches out to you for help, say, for the first time, what is it that you're mostly coming across? Do you find that most people have some sort of anxiety or trauma? What is it you find?
What I find is that most people just aren't feeling good. They're kind of depressed. They don't know why their life isn't working really well. They feel really heavy, and everything they've tried hasn't worked. And so they say, I don't really know much about this, but what do you think could help me? And the way that I explain it is that because we're made of energy and we have an energy system around us, my favorite way to explain it is ask people if they've seen the movie Ghostbusters, and then everybody says yes, because who hasn't seen the Ghostbusters? And in one of the first scenes, Bill Murray is slimed by that green ghost that flies by. Do you remember that scene?
Yes.
So that's what I say is, like, life kind of slimes us. And so what I help do is de-slime you, because you know how, like, if you've been around somebody that's really, really negative and they're saying all this really negative stuff and nothing ever makes them happy, you kind of walk away feeling, I just want to get away from you because I don't feel good around you. They're sliming you, basically. And so what I help do is I help de-slime people. Then the other thing that I do is, because I'm a medium and a healer, I have this different thing called the departed soul healing. And what I do with that is I take you on what looks like a guided meditation, but really what I'm doing is I'm walking you to the other side of the spiritual world where your passed on loved ones are, and you get to experience them in your own way. If you see things, you'll see them, hear them, feel them, and while that's taking place, I'm actually giving you a healing, giving the connection a healing, and the other person a healing. So that's very, very helpful for any grief or unresolved issues that you've had with somebody that's passed on, and it's extremely healing. It's actually changed a couple people's lives.
And why do you think it is so many people are choosing you for help? What is it about you that sets you apart as opposed to, say, someone else?
I absolutely 100% have a passion and love for this. It isn't about the money. It's not about anybody, recognition or any of those things. I genuinely just want to help people. I want to help people become the best version of them that they can be. It's just, I get so excited talking about it. It's what I'm meant to do.
Awesome. And what do you see for yourself moving forward? Are you looking to possibly expand into more things, or really just hone in on what you're doing now?
Both. I am forever a student. So if I find something new, I study it, I learn it, and then I incorporate it into what I do. Sometimes my spirit guides will tell me things that I should add in, and so I work on those, and I'm always trying to improve on my skills, but I'm always open to anything that's new that's coming along that could possibly help more people.
Gotcha. Now, when it comes to your sessions, do you have set time slots? Does it, vary to person to person? How's that work?
Well, I have packages that last longer. most of the time when somebody first comes to me, I say, hey, why don't we just try an aura healing and a cleaning? And that way, it's just 30 minutes, and that way they can get a real good sense of kind of what I can do, and it's kind of a gentle way to start. When you're doing a healing like this, that can get pretty intense, and often people sit up from my table and are a little lightheaded, so you take a minute to get their bearings. I always give everybody water to make sure they're drinking lots of water. But that's the way I start, is I generally start with an aura healing because it's a nice way to ease you in.
Gotcha. And what would you say is the most rewarding part of what you do?
The most rewarding part of what I do is when somebody is done with a session with me and they look at me and they go, wow, I feel so much better, or wow, this just happened. I spoke to my loved one, or, I don't feel so depressed anymore. Or when they come back to me and they said, after that session I had with you, my anxiety is gone. I don't need my antidepressants anymore. And that is so amazing and so wonderful to me to hear people come back and tell me about what the great things that have happened in their life and how they feel better. That's the best part of this.
Very cool. And what is the best way for my audience to reach out to you for more information?
My website, which is www.sacramentohealingtree.com. That's the best way to find me. You can read information about me, my services that I offer, and you can book an appointment with me. I also do all of those services can be done distantly, so that it doesn't have to be face-to-face.
Awesome. Well, Shannon, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on air with us. I really do appreciate you taking the time out.
Thank you so much for having me.